Hey everybody, and welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. I am your host Jerry. I'm joined as usual by himself, front row CB Colin Byrne, and himself, Wrestle Mob's Mark O'Brien. Unfortunately, Liz is still out sick at the moment, and Foxy is having a Friday night off, as this has been recorded on Friday night. So guys, we're here to talk about last weekend in Ireland, a big weekend for wrestling, Fight Factory, OTT, Hard Knocks. A massive weekend in the Irish independent wrestling scene for everybody involved. Great to see, great to have more wrestling in Ireland, and we look forward to having even more of it. So we're going to touch base on all three shows. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend Fight Factory or OTT that weekend, but I was in attendance for Hard Knocks. The three of us actually were all on commentary for Hard Knocks. Mark made his debut on commentary.
Well done, by the way. Well done.
Liz wasn't too pleased. I'm joking. She was delighted that you were on, and we're hearing good things about your commentary. We haven't seen it yet. We're looking forward to hearing it. So, Mark, how did you find your first time on commentary first before we get into Fight Factory?
Yeah, well, this was my first Hard Knock show more than anything, and I absolutely loved it. I think I was saying to yourself and Colin throughout the day, like it's a different atmosphere, it's a different vibe, even amongst the talent and staff, and even amongst the kind of patrons who attend each of the shows in Dolan's. I loved everything about it, be it the setup, the atmosphere, the clean nature of everything you're dealing with, be it the setup with the ring, the setup in the crowd, the production side of things, everything was brilliant. And then commentary was a good laugh. It was one of those things you're not sure what to expect because you're going from podcasting where you're just chatting shite, but then when you're on doing commentary, you're conscious it's somebody else's product you're talking over, and you can't really just waffle on and talk garbage like you would your friends. So hopefully it won't come across too badly when it comes out. But no, it was a bloody brilliant day out. And actually I thought it was the best show of the weekend in my opinion. And that's saying a lot because all three shows were excellent.
Good. Colin, third time now in commentary. You seem to be getting the hang of it. You're getting a bit natural leading 3-man team.
Yeah, it was like, listen, I love the show. I agree with Mark. My favorite show of the weekend. Like Jesus, it was such a long weekend in itself. Like I actually felt hungover on Monday. Like even though I didn't touch a drop, just like such a long day on Sunday. I think we were on the road, or I was on the road, and anyway, from about 10:15, and get back into the house till 2 a.m. So like it's a long day. It's a long grind, and yes, I'm starting to appreciate more and more what these guys do, putting them hours in. Like guys doing flights and stuff as well, and these guys are doing it 3-4 days a week. It's crazy, but yeah, Hard Knocks was brilliant. Commentary, yeah, I think I'm finding a flow. Like a bit less prep time. I think the more prep I do, the worse I kind of feel. Like I don't want to be scripted either, you know. Like I want it to be organic and original. I want my words to be my own. Like just like to peel back the curtain a little bit here. Like I think I had like 7 pages worth of notes the first show. Like, and I think we were like halfway through match one or towards the end of match one. I was like, I just can't keep up with this. So I just
it was too dark.
Aside.
It was too dark.
It was also too dark. I had the phone out as well, leaning over the notes. I'm not sure if you remember, but yeah, like just like, and they were my notes, by the way, just to let you know, like notes that I take beforehand, not what's given to me. But yeah, like it felt better once I got rid of the notes, could be myself, be a bit more natural. And like the last 2 shows I've come into it, more myself, kind of just going in, doing the little bits of research before the show, getting myself up to speed, conscious of what the storylines are from the last shows as well, reminding myself on what's to kind of be expecting. Yeah. Like we couldn't have asked for a better card as well. Like card was stacked to the gills, like so. Like yeah, just natural reaction. Like, and to be honest with you guys, like you may think that like some of it is put on, like it like it's not. Like what you hear me on commentary is my reactions. Like there was one spot at the start of the main event. Now I'm not gonna spoil on people, but the start of that main event, I don't think I popped as big in my life. And I'm dying to hear what it sounds like on commentary, because like massive shock for me as it was for everybody else. Like, and yeah, just like those moments, like that, there was that electricity by the end of it. I was buzzing. I know I said to you guys, I literally had to get up from the desk when we finished.
Yeah,
I literally did the sign off. And I literally shook 2 of you guys' hand, and I stood up and I had to walk away because I was just so buzzing from it that I just had to like go for a little walk and kind
Yeah.
of get that little bit of buzz out before I kind of come back and have a chat again. Like,
Yeah, it's that
but
Steve Savage thing he always talks about, passion.
energy, electricity,
Inside
yeah.
the room was phenomenal for the whole night. It was just from start to finish. It was just flowed so well. It was just like one big long. There was no like there without giving out. There was no intermission, so everything just flowed right through into the next, and it was just perfect. I couldn't fault anything in the show at all, regardless of being on commentary. Like you pick stuff out and stuff maybe it didn't work or something that maybe was a bit sloppy. Nothing was sloppy. Everything worked. Everything had a place. And it just flowed into one big long great fucking show. Like, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, unreal. Like it's so great to be a part of it and to get those feelings from it. Like you're getting those childhood energy, electricity, buzzy feelings like that. Like they don't come around as often anymore. Like I got it at a Scrappermania as well, like in the run up to it. But the Sammy the Omari match I was getting it for, Debbie and Martina, but like you don't get it an awful lot anymore. And it's great to still have those vibes when they do come around, and it's just something great to be a part of. Like really buzzing after the weekend, even though Monday I was wrote off.
And they start off the weekend now. I wasn't in attendance. You'll have to fill me in on Fight Factory. I seen the card. There was a lot of good matches. Leyton Buzzard defending the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. How was the show overall for you guys, Mark? How did you go?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It kind of had a story thread throughout. Kind of the start and the ending were quite similar. Yeah, it was good, and it was it was overall the show, the layout. Like the guys in Fight Factory had a production crew in from Channel 4 recording a documentary of the week, which is brilliant for them. You can kind of see the additional work they'd put into on the kind of production side of things, the layout of the venue, the lighting, the camera work, kind of platforms they had for additional crowd at the back of the ring or back of the arena, I suppose, where people can kind of stand up on to view the ring. Everything, it was a good all round atmosphere as well, and everybody seemed to be in good spirits. There was no, I think a lot of time after on a Friday night, some people might be getting a lot of drink into them before shows, and sometimes depending for BYOB events particularly, you can sometimes find that people can be a bit boisterous or come out with some stupid comments. I didn't find an awful lot of that. It was like and that goes across the board in any sort of events. I'm just saying recently there was one or two instances of Fight Factory shows, but I really
Nothing
enjoyed
too bad now, just to
no,
say,
nothing,
like, yeah, nothing outlandish, but yeah, just people just a few weird things or weird chants or just
yeah, but it was good on Friday. Like everybody seemed to be on a similar kind of page in that regard. Everybody was just there to have a good time. I think sometimes when you go to wrestling shows, particularly in Ireland, because we're spoilt with the quality of shows across the board, some people can have far too great expectations that could be quite overly critical rather than taking what's presented and enjoying it. I think you can apply that to every promotion. Everybody seemed to be there just to have a nice Friday night and enjoy the wrestling, and that is as simple as it sounds. It's actually you don't find it that often. And I had a really good time. I don't know if we want to dig into any of the results as of yet, do we? Or
yeah, if you
go for it.
Yeah, go for
perfect.
it.
Yeah, I think we started off the night with Martin Steers. He was facing Terry Thatcher in the opener. First of all, it was absolutely fantastic to see Terry Thatcher back in Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, and it was brilliant to see kind of two stature-wise, two evenly matched wrestlers, maybe different end of the spectrum in terms of experience, with very similar skill set and a similar-ish type of presentation. I'm a huge fan of Terry Thatcher, and he would go on to have a brilliant weekend throughout. His match with Martin was an unbelievable way to start the show, really a tone setter. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm hoping we'll get to see him going forward and more matches Fight Factory next month. Colin, what did you think of that match? You enjoy it?
Banger, absolute banger. Yeah, as soon as I seen that Thatcher was announced, short notice as well. I think it was the day of he was announced, the morning of.
Yeah.
Was injury or someone, was Martin supposed to face someone else, or was
there was nothing announced, but I guess we can only presume that there was meant to be someone else in that spot, and they had to pull out or they weren't available for whatever reason, and that's why Thatcher got the late call. That would be my guess. I don't know. Maybe Katie and Phil are just fucking like leaving things to the last minute and saying, "Oh, look what we have!" Like this big surprise. Like, but I'd guess it was someone pulled out. But yeah, like listen, I'm a massive Thatcher fan. Always have been. was one of my favorites when I first started getting into OTT as well. And like, I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers on this island. I think he can do so much with and for a lot of the up and coming lads. Now, when I say up and coming lads, I mean established up and comers, the likes of Martin Stairs, the likes of LJ, although LJ I think is probably on a different level now at this stage. But the likes of Martin, CBL, Fabio, we had that match with Fabio on Fight Factory before, like main event or Junior Heavyweight Championship, absolute banked. But yeah, like Martin is getting I was gonna say he's getting to that level. I think he's at that level. I think he has definitely leveled up in the last year, and I think he's well and truly able to go out there and have a singles banger, and he should be in that bracket of our LJs or Sammy D's or Fabio's, although he probably needs another year or two before he gets to like main event OTT. But like, listen, he's well and truly in that upper echelon, and to have someone like Thatcher coming in with his expertise and to have that type of match with Martin, like, just, yeah, it was a cracker. I called it when I saw it. I says match of the night. I still think that it was match of the night. The main event probably challenged it to an extent. Probably toss up between the two, but yeah, was really anticipating that match when I saw it that morning. And yeah, it absolutely delivered. And again, I'm with Mark. Give us more Thatcher in Fight Factory. I think he should be booked every time Fight Factory's running. He's probably sitting at home on a Friday night doing nothing else. So Katie and Phil, if you're watching this, book Terry Thatcher more, please. And I think the fans after the show were kind of saying that as well. We want more Thatcher in Fight Factory. So
there's a new hashtag for Terry Thatcher, book more Thatcher.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think just to keep a pin in this, Terry sent out a really nice tweet after the show, commenting on his match with Martin and the main event. So when we get around to the main event, I'll touch on that a bit later. But again, yeah, like, listen, I'm same as I said, same as Colin. I want him on Fight Factory, NLW, OTT, Hard Knocks, RCW. Every show I think should be able to find a space for somebody as good as Terry Thatcher. Following that, we then had PB&J, Phil Boyd and Justy versus Galacini and AJ Scraggs in kind of a different type of tag team match. This is good fun. Like, it was kind of, you've gone, I can see why they placed it second in the card. You've gone from quite a hard hitting banger type match to something a bit more levity based, where you're still building the crowd up in anticipation towards the main event at the end of the shows. It's good fun. Like, Keane Galacini is obviously the kind of most talked about thing in Irish wrestling in the minute, and like, for good reason. Like, he's a guy who's going up and down to every promotion in the country. He's driving the van here, there, and everywhere, bringing rings to different promotions. He trains everywhere across the country, goes to every seminar imaginable. He's putting out arguably the best content in the country alongside CJ West. And for a guy who's probably been in the business about a year, like, he's probably working as hard as anybody is out there, and he's getting his just rewards for it. And you can see his natural kind of chemistry coming out in every performance, which is why it was interesting to kind of see him in this kind of odd couple pairing that he's been with AJ Scraggs for a while now. And you can kind of see, like, obviously AJ's portraying a bit more like cranky. Why am I with this happy-go-lucky smiley guy type thing? And then you've got Phil Boyd and Justy across the ring is doing Justy, Phil, that kind of crack. The whole match itself was kind of built around whether AJ Scraggs would put a coat on. It was funny, like, it was good crack. It was a bit of fun, like, and it was very crowd interactive as well. Put the coat on, and like, Keane wouldn't tag in till AJ put the coat on, and then Keane put on a leopard skin coat, and suddenly he had magic power as he burst in the ring. Hot tag, cleans house. Yeah, it was good fun. Like, what do you think, Colin? I think it served its purpose, and yeah, it was good fun.
Galacini, like, is just the star, in my opinion. It was like, yeah, there was a few good points in that match. I believe AJ trying to bring AJ into Keane's world a little bit more, and like solidify them two as maybe a team. But like, I think I'd be unfair saying that it wasn't the Galacini show, to be honest. Like, everyone wanted to see him. He gave the fans what they want. He was funny. He had the crack. He got the shit kicked out of him as well. And then, like, we had the bear situation with Justy. Don't say anything about a bear. Everyone was shouting bear at him. And then, like, halfway through the match, like, some bear video comes up on the screen. Justy shits himself, and yeah, that stuff I don't like the bear stuff.
I thought you loved the bear.
I made it plain on the last show that we did. I'm not a fan of the bear. I'm not gonna shit too much on it. Like,
It's unbearable, eh?
Very much so. Yeah, well done. But yeah, listen, like I'm not enjoying. I don't enjoy the bear stuff. I didn't enjoy the bear stuff. I think it needs to die a death and fuck off now. Like,
Yeah, the bear
I
stuff is
did,
polarizing, all right.
I did. I get why they did the thing with Justy. It was a bit of fun. That he's still a bit scared or traumatized from it. Yeah, it's fun. Like, please don't bring the bear back though. But yeah, listen, King Galacini show. That's what it was. We got what we got what we wanted. We saw that little bit of difference in AJ Scraggs as well. So I think we're slowly going to start to see him coming out of his shell and a bit more. But yeah, fun match. After a hot opener, you need that kind of cooler. But yeah, decent.
Are we going
Yeah,
to?
sorry,
go ahead. I was going to say, are we going to see this team going in for a title opportunity against maybe the Saviors in the future? Or are they?
I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're that team yet. I think they need to solidify a bit more. Like, they probably will get a title shot, and yeah, probably like someone will cost the other the match or something. But like, yeah, I can't see them getting a championship run anytime soon. Until they solidify as a team.
Like, I think the fact that it's like their monthly shows, like, it probably does lend itself to be like 2 or 3 months down the line minimum. So like, so you'd be looking at 3 shows probably before that reach that point. Just an AJ, like, he's a really good guy. He works bloody hard, and I thought he did really, really good and well, rather, in terms of like, it hit that turn of personality and kind of defending. No, I don't want to put on his coat. Like, his facials, his animation, his expression, like, it's a different type of animated to Galacini. Galacini's got a kind of a natural charisma and comedy kind of factor about him, whereas AJ was able to kind of portray like shock, earnest, babyface fire as well. And I thought it was brilliant, and I kind of it did portray it achieved what it meant to, rather, in terms of showing AJ in a different light. And I thought he went above and beyond, and probably surprised a lot of people in his performance. But yeah, like I say, it did the job that match. Following that, then we had LJ and Fabio versus the Bearded Beauties. This was probably not the match anyone expected. It was, a lot of it was based around, again, it was kind of a comedy-ish match. Again, it was enjoyable for the crowd in attendance, obviously very enjoyable for the lads in the ring. Now, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the song, and didn't recognize it at the time when the lads came out. It was
It's some Hannah Montana shit.
Hannah Montana, right? And listen, I'm 31, but I'm not that old. I should know this stuff, so I feel a bit ashamed in that. But I saw a video the lads were dancing to it online. They'd put up a poll before on what songs we should come out to, some variation of, I don't know, Hannah Montana's, or is it Miley Cyrus? Is she?
Yeah.
There you are, right?
That's
Every day's a school day, right? And so they came out to some Hannah Montana song. It was good crack. The Bearded Beauties then came out then. Butch and JDP. Butch is slightly a huge man, as an aside. He's a very big boy. And the match was based around, at the start, about the two lads with longer beards laughing at Fabio with stubble. And Fabio's like, "Oh, what are you laughing at?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm not telling you what I'm laughing at." And there's kind of a bit of back and forth. Fabio's feelings got hurt, sadly. Nothing worse than that. And he left then for a bit. So then it was AJ against the two lads for a period, just the two of them on one, and until LJ and the crowd started singing the Hannah Montana song again. And then Fabio made a miraculous return. Yeah. What did you think, Colin?
Yeah, shit song. That's it. Like, fucking Hannah Montana, I was completely out of this. Like, I had kids beside me singing this song, didn't know what the fuck was going on, to be honest. Yeah, didn't have a clue. Match was a bit fun. Bearded Beauties are always good. Way over as well. Just the Bearded Beauties took the win as well. So surprised by that. So that's 2 losses for LJ and Fabio. So like, I don't know where they're going with that or what's going to happen there. But like, 2 of the biggest wrestlers in the country, 2 of the previous Irish Junior Heavyweight champions, not able to get the shit together. Tag team wrestling maybe isn't for them. But yeah, the song stuff, couldn't be arsed with it. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. Standing there like a tick, feeling like an old man, even though I'm only 33. No more of that, please, Fight Factory. Stop pandering to these fucking 18, 19-year-olds with this fucking Hannah Montana shit. That's why I passed my time. I sound like a grumpy old man here. Like,
I had a
um,
guy, over my shoulder who's not too much younger than me, and he knew every word, and he was having the time of his life. So listen, it's not that type of song. It's very much like Fight Factory is very much supposed to be digested as a live experience, and like it is a brilliant Friday night out, and it is interactive, and that's what the purpose of that was for. Like last year, where they had the It's Always Sunny in the Fight Factory, that was actually
that
my
I
first
loved.
fight.
That I
I
loved, and I
fucking
was
love that.
so pissed off. I was
Yeah.
so pissed off that so many people didn't get the references.
Yeah, I
And
loved it.
now, if they were to do it now, because so many people have now watched it on Netflix, especially after the Irish season,
Yeah.
everyone would fucking get it. So I
Yeah.
think they were probably a year too early, but me and Rob Harmon were standing there, getting everything in
Yeah.
stitches at everything, and everyone else go, "What is this?" So they're probably like,
Yeah.
"I was at last week's show."
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was my first Fight Factory show as an aside, and I loved every second of it, and I fell in love with Fight Factory's promotion off the back of it. But I think the idea behind those kind of songs is to try recapture that kind of interactive experience with the crowd and the songs, the kind of that fun kind of pantomime kind of atmosphere for that one segment. And obviously not to us two because we're boring shites, but to other people in the crowd, because there were other people having an absolute ball of time, loving every second of it.
kids.
Was
Stupid
everybody
kids.
else drinking cans? Were you two drinking? No.
No, I was driving.
That is likely the issue. Neither of us
Yeah.
are drinking.
Even if I was drinking, I probably just would have got more abrupt about how I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So it was probably a good thing that I wasn't drinking.
Alcohol
would-
brings back your memories. You would have remembered that song if you had been
I've
drinking.
never watched.
I'm-
I've never watched Hannah Montana. I don't even
Never
know.
watched it either,
I
but the song
literally
is-
only saw it. I literally only saw it the other day that it's on the Disney Channel. And I was sitting there going, "Will I turn it on?" I'm like, "No, Colin, don't be fucking
No.
stupid. You're not turning on Hannah Montana." Like,
I won't ask why you're looking at what was on the kids' channels, but anyway.
Disney.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Following that, then we had Katie Harvey versus Jungle Jill. This was a nice little exhibition match for both participants. We don't get to see Katie in the ring, and certainly in one-on-one competition in the Fight Factory that often since she come back. It's a nice exhibition match, good back and forth, a bit of crowd interaction. Katie kind of came out at the start and said, like, "I'm sorry, I just really wanted to wrestle in front of you all." And we're like, "Well, we're happy to have you."
That kind of just for a second, that kind of killed it for me, if I'm being honest. I'd rather her say, "I just wanted to come out here and kick the shit out of Jungle Jill," or something along those lines. Fire me up a bit. Like, I just think when she says, "Oh, I just want to wrestle," I was like, "Oh no, like, give me something." Like,
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who wants to grip into something and something to sink my teeth in and to be invested in, that when it just took me out of it. Nothing against the match, nothing against Katie. It just took me out of it a little bit. And I was like, "Oh, you should have just called Jungle Jill an arsehole or something instead." Like,
yeah. And I listen, and again, it's one of those ones where like there were tons of people who love that kind of bit of crowd interaction and love that, and like they're just delighted to see both of them, because Jungle Jill has like almost a cult following among certain Irish promotions. They love the kind of gimmick and they love her, and she's obviously
love
coming
Jill.
over from Belgium.
She's
She's
great to
brilliant.
have on a show. Yeah.
Any show she features in, be it Contenders, Fight Factory, anywhere, she always goes above and beyond, delivers on a high level. That was a brilliant match. We're delighted to have them there. Following that, then we had Saviors. Who were they against again, Colin?
Saviors were against the Bradley brothers. It was an open challenge. I think was it an open challenge? I'm not sure 100%. Was it an open challenge to in NX or next gen team or something? Did he say it was a next gen team or something like that? So the last time I saw the Bradley brothers was at the next gen showcase. The last one they actually fought JB and Party Boy for the tag championships in the main. Now I know that that's non-canon and stuff, but as far as I know, they wrestle up north, train with Titanic. Good guys, pretty decent. I think they were thrown into this spot against the Saviors. The Saviors have this more aggressive nature going on about them. So the Bradley brothers, they got a little bit of a look in, but to be fair, not on a hell of a lot, because it was a very dominant Saviors team, and we've seen that in the last couple of shows. They won the tags back very dominantly. And I like this more aggressive Saviors. It's great to see. I think it shows and portrays a different side to them. And we got that same one, very, very dominant team. I think they hit their finish. Was it 2 or 3 times the finish? Just like,
impactful.
Very hard hitting, very impactful, like very dominating.
Are you saying they're starting to save you, or are you starting to turn, Colin?
You said this before, right? I don't need to be fucking saved by anybody, right? But I'll give them credit where credit is due. They're coming out more aggressive. They're doing it more aggressively. They're doing it more dominating. They're not taking the cheap tricks that they were doing before. They're not really doing that. They're just coming out and saying, we know we're the best tag team in this division, potentially in this country, and we're going to fucking come out and we're going to give it our all, and we're going to fuck up these teams who think that they can stand in the ring with us.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. Yes, I like seeing that side of Sabres. I don't want this Mickey Mouse shit. I don't want Anita Vaughn running out every other match. I don't want them doing run-ins all the time. I just want them to go out and kick the shit out of their opponents. This aggressive, domineering style, because in my opinion, they are one of the best teams in the country. And I've said it for a long time. They are one of the best teams. They were just pricks.
Yeah,
now they're less prickish, and they're going out and they're proving their skill now. They're doing it with skill rather than cheap tricks.
Yeah, and I think they're obviously brilliant, and like you could see the difference level in terms of experience between the two different teams. Obviously, is very evident from the outset. But having said that, for the job that the guys had to do in terms of the Bradley brothers, in terms of their very first outing on a Fight Factory show, a Fight Factory main card show as well. I thought they sold them. This is getting inside baseball now, but sold unbelievably well. You can see how unbelievably athletic and hardworking both of them are. They have a natural chemistry when working together. They travel up and down from the north of Ireland at least twice a week down to Fight Factory and top training in their own gym, Biting Titanic. They do Titanic shows on weekends, and they're up every weekend available session down at Fight Factory. The two lads who work unbelievably hard. And I guarantee you they will have a big 2023 and big 2024 in the Irish tag team scene.
Yeah. I could agree. I saw a lot of good things from them. They were just in there with a very dominant team.
Yeah. Now, following that, then we had the was it Murder on the Dance Floor match, Jerry? Is that
that's what they called it. Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was a dance floor or what exactly happened in this match.
Well, settle in now, Jerry. So for this, we had 6 different participants come into the ring with various different types of seating tools. Best way to describe it. Some had straightforward plastic chairs, some had metal folding chairs, one person had a stool, one person had a big, gigantic gamer's chair that they brought into the ring. So the participants for this match were Debbie Keitel. Forgive me if I miss anybody here, and Colin, you correct me. Death Proof Debbie, yeah, which was she came out into kind of a 80s
Madonna-esque.
Come with me, come with that kind of dance attire. Then you had Jay Steins, who came out dressed as Prince, and obviously Gangland, he's just fire. Then you had Rory O. Then you had Ryan Banks. You had Wholesome Leon Leonard with his Twitch ensemble, and then following that, then you had sorry, who was the last participant, Colin?
Zhou Tang,
yes. So essentially, the purpose of the match was it was a game of musical chairs. So the lads would dance around the chairs, and then in musical chairs, Jerry, you see, I'm not sure if you ever played this at birthday parties growing up or what now, but
yeah, it's an old game.
Once the music stops, you all have to take a seat, and every round a chair gets taken away, and the remaining person with one chair is the victor. So it's a game of skill, courage, patience, concentration, and yeah, it was entertaining to see the least.
Pass this one over here, Mark. Pass the button. I'll
give it to you. I enjoyed it anyway.
Right, I think this one was a miss. I really do, and it disappoints me a little bit to say that, because I love a bit of comedy, stick, shit. Like, give me it all. I think this one missed. I think it was just, I don't know, and I don't think it was anybody's fault in the match. I don't think anyone did anything wrong. I just think the concept was probably a miss. I expected it to be, okay, we'll start with musical chairs, shit's going to break down, it's going to turn into a match. That's actually what I expected from it. It turned out to just be a game of musical chairs. Now, there was a bit of shenanigans going on, people kicking people off a chair, out of a chair, whatever. A couple of little funny moments, but I think that it just missed having a 20 or 15, 20-minute musical chairs match. I was just a bit disappointed with it. Get me back to like bin matches, get me back to It's Always Sunny matches, get me back to Billy Juice, You know, they were all gold in my opinion. Even the towel match was very good, where J Money died. But like, you get me back to that stuff. I just think this one missed, and I just wasn't too impressed with it. And again, no one's fault in the match. I think the concept just wasn't right.
That's not the
I
first
think
time they had a musical chairs in wrestling, though, right? Didn't Ric Flair and Stacey Keibler and them do it back in the day in Raw?
I think NXT have done one as well,
Yeah.
the old NXT and stuff. So like, yeah, listen, I think the only issue I think with this was it went on a bit long. There's a few
yeah,
times where the guys themselves, you can kind of see them. They'd be getting around the circle. They get round one circle and they kind of look, peer over the shoulder, expecting something to happen. Oh, we're going round again, type thing. So there was, it was just like, maybe it was just, yeah, it was about 20 minutes.
I think it probably dragged out a bit too long.
Yeah,
Just
because
a lot of fun.
the shenanigans they had itself, if you isolated them, were actually fine.
If
They're
yeah,
grand. It was,
if you lessen the time between the stops and stuff and how long the music was playing, I think if I had it been 5 minutes, I think it would have been fine.
yeah.
I think it just probably went on a bit too long, and just I think again, like, constructive criticism, I just think it was a miss. It probably just went on too long, but like, they've done a lot of good stuff, and I know Debbie Coytel is a genius at this kind of stuff, and creating these concepts. And I know J Money gets involved in a lot of them as well, and between the two of them, they're comedy gold. And we've had a lot of fun stuff in Fight Factory. Again, it was only a matter of time before we have one that didn't like hit right, and I think this was the one. And hopefully we'll get back next month or whenever they do something else, and we're back into that fun stuff again, and stuff that like really hits again. Like,
Yeah, it was also good to see that kind of new cohort of 4 lads who have been training regularly in day out in Fight Factory, don't miss sessions, all getting a spot on the card, even if it's kind of in this comedy spot. The fact that they get to be presented in front of an audience, so they are familiar. People do recognize them, for when they then get onto shows later down the line, being match positions or whatnot. But it was, yeah, it was what it was, and there are good points to take from it as well. And we move on to my actual favorite match of the night. It wasn't the main event. It was Rab versus Thibaut Hendrick, and Thibaut Hendrick is kind of a shoot fighter, Alex Coughlin type of wrestler. If you're familiar with him with New Japan, he's from Belgium, brought over with Jungle Jill as well. Two of them had I thought an absolute banger before the main event. 1-on-1, incredibly hard hitting. Thibaut didn't give Rab a minute to breathe. Yeah, it was Rab had a huge lariat to finish things off with the package pile driver then, and yeah, that was my favorite match of the night.
both of them
Well,
solid. Yeah, it was good to see
brilliant.
Thibaut. Rab's on the up and up.
Yeah,
Hopefully see Thibaut back, but yeah, very
see-
solid match.
as soon as I saw Thibaut, I was like, I want him on every single Fight Factory show. I think
Yeah.
he's brilliant. Following that, then we're on to the main event. There was a four-way. We had Anita Vaughn, Party Boy, CBL, and Leyton Buzzard, and this was a kind of a moments match. I think you were talking about your favorite match being the opener and the 1-on-1 contest. I think a lot of time when you have these kind of title fight, fatal four-way, they're different types of match. They're based around significant moments that you remember throughout. And I think all 4 participants had huge moments to shine, where each of them had moments where you're like, yeah, CBL's going to win this. Yeah, oh Jesus Christ, Party Boy's going to win this. Oh, who would have thought that? And you wouldn't bet against it being a Fight Factory, having that good feel-good moment. And then at a certain point, I was absolutely convinced Anita Vaughn was winning it. And then lo and behold, in through the fire exit, here comes Martin Steers, cashing in his giant lunchbox Money in the Bank briefcase type thing. He comes in, causes mayhem, wins the title. 1, 2, 3. Unbelievable moment for Fight Factory. I tweeted out at the time, the most deserving member of the Irish wrestling roster to win a promotions head title, in my opinion. Caveat that, in my opinion, out of everybody to win a heavyweight title, junior heavyweight title, this year, Martin Steers.
Yeah, I think the time was right from as I said earlier, he's leveled up. He deserves it. Just a couple of little things from that match as well. CBL had it won. He actually hit the finish on Leyton and looked like he had it won until Martin then hit him with the belt to the back of the head and then got the cover. So Leyton actually didn't take the pin for the title. Where does that leave us? Because Leyton could come back, CBL could come back, because he had that match won, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then Martin takes the win. I also like that Martin actually entered himself into the match, and it wasn't after the match. It wasn't after someone had won the match and then he's coming in. I think we've seen that too many times. So I like that he actually entered himself into the match and was the 5th competitor. And he actually then won the match outright. But yeah, very happy for Martin. Great to see him in that spot, and I'm really excited to see what he does going forward, because he's now the guy.
Yeah.
And like they always say, well, not the easy part, but the easy part of a championship is getting there. The hardest part is keeping it. So what's next for Martin? But I think he's now the guy. He's going to be getting those big matches. He's going to be getting the Greshams, the Carnoirs coming in. So yeah, really excited for Martin, and I think he can definitely hold that position for a while.
Yeah.
And you saw how sorry, I was going to say you saw how well CBL leveled up throughout that match.
Yeah.
And I think that naturally lends to then a natural rivalry. The way the conclusion of that match went rather, with Martin CBL kind of being the leading feud for Fight Factory going forward, and I see RCW have already booked the two of them for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship on May 13th at their upcoming show. So yeah, only good things to come, and two huge talents from Irish wrestling for Fight Factory to lead us forward now.
Yeah, I'm delighted. Personally, I'm delighted for Martin. Like last year, we said it before. Like he stepped up last year. Last year was a breakout year for him. He proved that he can hang in there with the best. So I'm really looking forward to seeing who comes up and challenges him throughout the year. Providing he keeps it for a while. I hope he does keep it for a few months, maybe even half a year. Like just give him some good matches, because we know what he's capable of now. So like you said, if you bring in people like Gresham or Carno or whoever you decide to bring in and have a match with him, I think it'll be great for him going forward.
Yeah, perfect. So for me, that show was good. I gave that show a good 7 out of 10. So what's that, 3.5 on the Meltzer scale? Whatever spoofy rankings.
Yeah, I think just to be fair to Fight Factory as well, I think there's no bad Friday night in Fight Factory. Like there hasn't been since last year. So if anyone is considering going to Fight, go to it. Fucking brilliant. It's a great Friday night out. I think their last show, not this one, what was it? This was 27, I think 26. I think was probably their worst show since they've come back past COVID. It wasn't a bad show by any means, because all their shows are very good. I think it was just the worst that they've put on so far, or a few of the results didn't pan out. Or I think that's just my opinion. Some others have said the same. So they've done well to bounce back from that and to come back and show what they're great at again. There was a couple of misses, as you're gonna have on shows, and as I've said, but listen, solid show. I definitely agree, but there's no bad Friday night in the Fight Factory. So get yourself a Fight Factory show if you're considering. They're great nights, and it's 20 quid.
Yeah, and the last point I'll caveat to that: if you're a wrestling fan and you're like me, trying to convince your normal mates to get into wrestling alongside you and come to events, Fight Factory shows on a Friday night, I guarantee it's the most fun they'll have. It's the easiest one for them to get into. It's a BYOB event. They can stand around, have crack with their mates. There's a lot of back and forth. There's good interaction with everybody in the venue. That is the show to come to. Friday night in Dublin. It's the biggest hidden gem in the city. Enjoy yourself. Get down to Fight Factory shows.
100%. I can definitely recommend it. I finally got to go to one this year, so I'm hoping to get to more this year before it ends. But it was definitely a great night, and I wasn't even drinking, and I had a blast at them. So definitely get out there and get to see it. Make sure before you get to Fight Factory show on Friday, before you're going out, make sure you have your shower and you're all cleaned up. And just to throughout to that, the word from our sponsors who'll help you get cleaned up for your Friday night out or your Saturday night, whatever night you go out of the week. Thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring our podcast. Again, we're going to announce a new product from Manscaped. They kindly sent us out the new Weed Whacker 2.0. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's probably blended in with it. There it is.
There you go.
Whacker 2.0. So it's calling all men. It's time to mind your manholes with Manscaped. Everyone's aware by now that the nose and hair are the major turn off. The nose hairs is a major turn off. Nobody likes nose hairs. They're tickle like mad. Nobody wants them anywhere near them. So Manscaped have upgraded the new Weed Whacker 2.0 with improved blades and motor. You can feel the power of nasty nose hair alienation in the palm of your hands. This improved Weed Whacker can now be found in their performance package. So the normal performance package that you would get, the normal Weed Whacker, this was a new addition to it. No additional cost. The performance package 4.0, you can save money and attack your nose and ear hairs by going to manscaped.com using the code IW20. You get 20% off and free shipping free worldwide shipping at manscaped.com. So, lads, you've used your, I'm not sure, Mark, if you got a chance to use your Manscaped yet, but Colin, you've used the old weed whacker.
I've used the old one, yeah. The new one literally only arrived yesterday.
Yeah.
It's still in the box. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. I need to take it out and charge it. It's probably charged as well.
Yeah, that's
they're
very
they're usually well charged before you get them. So yeah, it's still in the box. Going out tomorrow, so I'll definitely be using it in the morning before I head out, and I'll give an update. But the last one was deadly as well. Like, I don't see, like, I had no issues with the last one. I don't know where the improvements are, but if they're after finding improvements to be made on something that was already a good product, it's only going to be better. So.
What I think it's got, the blades are a bit better now. They've got the motor itself runs at 7,000 RPM, which is mental. Like, when you're sticking that up your nose, but it's spring is in the air. People are cutting the grass. You want to be able to smell fresh cut grass in the morning. You can get the whacker up there. Get that fresh air into your lungs. Get outside, enjoy the sunshine. The summer, summer is almost here. Like, in the winter, the bad 6 months we had of crappy weather is almost over. So let's get in there. So get in the Manscaped. Go on to the manscaped.com. Put in the code IW20. Get 20% off. Free shipping at manscaped.com.
Saturday, we were in the complex in Dublin for OTT Race to the Top. Now, very after the show, very split audience, I think, on the things that happened. So I'm just gonna blitz through the tournament, and we'll go through the results, and we can talk about it at the end. So we had 4. Like, let's be fair. We spoke about this last week. Huge tournament, massive names in this. You're not going to see names like this anywhere else in Europe, in my opinion. You're not going to see a tournament like this. But Leyton Buzzard against Leon Slater kicked us off. Leyton got the win there in potentially match of the night, or one of the matches of the night. We then went into Sean Guinness against RKJ. Unfortunately, in that match, Sean Guinness did pick up an injury. I'm not sure the extent. I know Sean was in the hospital on the Sunday morning and did get x-rays. As far as I know, there's nothing broken, but it was in the foot. But yeah, potentially a bit of damage there. So Sean actually got injured. The match was called a no contest. RKJ actually called out Matthew, because Matthew Bullet Smith was actually getting involved at ringside and says, "You step up." So Matthew stepped up and got in the ring, and Matthew actually picked up the surprise victory after a low blow to RKJ, to everyone's surprise. We then went into match 3 then. Prince of Pace, Callum Newman. Boy, that man is fast. Jesus, if you haven't seen this fella run the ropes, it's scary. Absolutely scary. But Callum against Omari, former OTT champ. Omari picks up the victory there, and again, potentially one of the matches of the night. So Omari advances. And then our last match was LJ Cleary, Renzo Rose, which ended in a double countout. Which I don't know where that one's gonna go, but I don't think that story is over. But anyway, so we have semi-finals then of Matthew Bullet Smith against Leyton Buzzard, and then we actually have Omari, due to a double countout, advancing straight to the finals. Going in then, Leyton came in and swept Matthew aside wearing his finery, and we thought that we were going to see Matthew in gear, but we didn't. He was back out with the trousers and the dress shoes. But yeah, Leyton put aside Matthew and then went into the final with Leyton on his 3rd match of the night against Omari, with his 2nd match of the night. And Omari, after a hard fought win, again potentially another match of the night. My 3 favourite matches. Argue between yourselves which one you actually liked, but Omari actually came out on top. So that was the tournament. There was a couple of other things on the card. We did have the freshness came out. Got interrupted by or sorry, which way was it? Was the freshness out first, Mark?
I think the freshness came out first, and they were interrupted by Jay Money, who came out with Liam Royal then. Yeah, and they had a bit of an intense interaction back and forth in that, and then I thought we got to see a different side of Fabio, which really appealed to both you and I. I thought he was brilliant in that role. Really made me want to see a future matchup between himself and Liam Royal more than anything, and then or potential tag matchup with Liam Royal and a partner. Really like that dynamic, 3 young guys in Irish wrestling. Demanding your attention, grabbing your attention with their kind of captivating performance in that instance. And then we had Lizzie Evo versus.
Sorry, Mark. Just before we get into that, we did get Jay Money actually went back, said that he will see the guys in the tag team tournament, which is upcoming, and they need to start questioning who Liam's partner was going to be. So we do have a mystery partner for Liam Royal, and the Freshness, it seems like the Freshness are going to be facing Liam and his partner in the tag team tournament, which we'll touch on the partner shortly. But yeah, go ahead there. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, like just on the to touch on that, even just that little tidbit within such a mega show was just so clever. But anyway, so much happened. Lizzie Evo versus Session Martina then. Didn't happen. We had Anita Vaughan came out and smashed Martina in the back of the head with the OTT Women's Championship, and then we came out to see a new version of Debbie Keitel. Debbie is timeless. We had Debbie come out to the new Relax, Don't Do It When You Want to Get to It.
Loved it.
It was really the theme song, the presentation, the video, her new in-ring gear, the attitude, the new partnership between herself and Anita. I thought it was brilliant. Anita came out, did her similar to her savior shtick, kind of that pantomime villain, screechy, getting the crowd riled up. Colin in particular. It was good. Like,
I actually wasn't giving her too much shit here. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't. I was actually worse in the crowd than me.
Yeah, and then there was then the match ended up being Debbie versus Lizzie Evo. Lizzie Evo is obviously
the real women's champion, as she called herself.
Yeah, and Lizzie is obviously a big talent over in the UK, young talent. Like, I've seen her compete in Progress and TNT previously, and I think there's been a lot of people clamoring for her to come over. And obviously, Joe Cabray's biggest source of information, Rob Harmon's been at him for a while to get Lizzie Evo over, and more often than not, if Rob suggested it, it's pretty bang on. I don't think he's been yet to be wrong, to be fair. So she came over. It was kind of a shame that she's kind of brought over in the middle of this shenanigans as such. I personally would love to see her in like a 15-minute straight match. Just kind of give her an equal spotlight between somebody. But I understand they're giving this storyline, this story thread, such a huge spotlight that it requires.
I love that this storyline is winding its way through things. It's very reminiscent of me to 96, 97 WWE, and I always go back to this, and you've probably heard me say this before on other podcasts and stuff. But that for me was peak storytelling in WWE. You had the longevity of the Brett and Sean storyline, but then everything in between. But that storyline was the one that wound its way through everything. So even though Brett went off and had his matches with The Undertaker, Mankind, Sean, the same, had a match with Austin, Mankind, Undertaker, there was still, at the very core of it, there was this Brett versus Sean storyline. So I think this is very reminiscent of that. Even though you have Lizzie Evo coming in to fight Martina, you still have this women's storyline between Debbie and Martina at play. And I love this stuff. When I was saying earlier about give me something to invest in, give me something to grip onto, this is it. This is the stuff that I love. Storytelling at its peak.
Yeah. And there's so many different twists and turns and nuances within it. And I think, like, what's the perception of OTT women's wrestling going to be 12 months down the line? Just this is the type of thing that really grabs people's attention. I think we talked about previously, like, the feeling going into Scrappermania was that kind of Rock Stone Cold WrestleMania 17 of the two of them facing each other off, competing for the prize, and kind of and because you couldn't call it either way, and that kind of attitude both of them are portraying, and that's carried over into now, and the kind of buy-in from the crowd in terms of everything they're going through, and this overarching story. Now, I would love to see Lizzie Evo have a spotlight and shine in a match separate from this, just for her sake. As such, it's almost a shame that she kind of gets caught up in this brilliant, nuanced story. But
it's right place, wrong time kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's also like you're showing, like, Joe will have seen how brilliant she did in that spot as well, and then hopefully more often than not she'll be back for the next show or the shows following that. And then Martina came out afterwards and kind of had a bit of back and forth, chased the two girls off, had a bit of back and forth with Lizzie Evo, said, listen, we'll definitely do this again down the line. So fingers crossed we do get that.
I think she said we'll run it back next month, which will bring us to the May. I think we have 2 shows, May 27, 28.
Yeah.
So potentially, I think we're going to see Lizzie back on those shows, or one of them, anyway.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. And I think we kind of. Did you get to the main event result?
Yeah, just Omari going over. Yeah, Leyton
okay.
on his third match, Omari on his second. Obviously, Leyton a bit more fatigued, and Omari getting the win there in a very hard fought contest. But just one thing that I didn't say about that, and I did say that we'd touch on it, but massive spotlight shone on Leyton Buzzard here in this tournament. Definitely said that this is me kind of thing, and that's how he was booked in that position. Like, this guy is the legitimate deal. And I think if Leyton Buzzard is coming back, because he says he's not finished with OTT, but if and when he does come back, like, he's not gonna be coming back into any mid-card stuff. Like, he's there. He's right at the top. Like, he's coming in at that championship.
Enjoy him while you get him, though.
Yeah. Like
not long for these shores or Scotland, wherever he is. He's going to get signed pretty soon.
No, and I think the story, I really, really loved this. When you saw this card on paper, you were like, all right, maybe Joe's trying to placate that kind of Japanesey indie, super indie kind of, not to throw stones, Rev Pro kind of show where it's action, and it's demanding your attention from the off. And I was actually looking forward to something different. But when the show was presented to him, when you actually saw it in real time, we're like, Joe's like, no, I'm teasing you this, but I'm giving you what real wrestling is. And if you listen to Joe Cabray's podcast today, you'll understand his mind operates in a wrestling wise, story wise, and at a whole different level, and understand what it actually is. And talking about he was talking today about visualizing cards before they happen, not to give too much away, but the story throughout that with Porsche Max are getting injured, but Leyton overcoming Leon Slater, and then getting worn down by Matthew Bullet Smith in the second match, and then obviously he's hobbling in absolute bits by the time he gets to the main event because Omari's had a fresh round through as well. I think people who are complaining online didn't appreciate what was presented to them, and I think a lot of people who are complaining online are just like, oh, where's Damo? Oh, where's Mox? Why didn't we have Eddie Kingston? Nobody could articulate what they actually had an issue with. If they watched what was put in front of them, it was bloody brilliant, and there was so many developments. I think it was the most nuanced, carefully crafted show throughout. The story from the tournament to the end, and then you had the story of Liam Royal and Jay Money teasing a tag partner, and then the end, which we haven't talked about yet. As a story thread,
we'll get into it there, Mark. So after the main, so just one thing, Sammy was on commentary as far as I know for the main. I couldn't hear him. I was actually looking at the entrance to see where he was coming, and he actually came from the commentary desk. Got into the ring, but just this moment in itself, I just want to speak about this moment just very briefly. Sammy got into the ring. Leyton was still in the ring after the loss, and I think this is very, very important, and this is something that I noticed. Leyton was still in the ring, and Sammy went over and shook Leyton's hand and had a bit of a conversation with him, basically telling him, I respect you, you did absolutely amazing, and I will see you down the line. And that moment, that 10-15 seconds takes Leyton from here to here. It does so much, that little moment, that little rub that Sammy gave him. Now, not that Leyton needed it, but everyone there who probably wasn't too sure of who Leyton was now knows this fella's this shit. He's to be taken serious. And just that little moment, because it would have been so easy for Leyton to just roll out of the ring and then Sammy to come in and talk to Omari. And then Leyton doesn't get that rub. And then where does it leave him? But just that little moment just elevates him so much. And I love that. That's that little nuanced storytelling that I like. And that's that extra little thing. And I don't know if it's just me that sees it, or I know a few other people picked up on it, and probably what you're saying, Mark, this storytelling that went throughout the whole night. It's little moments like this that make it, like the little tease of the tag team partner. Anyway, Sammy then has a back and forward with Omari, says he respects him. He's one of his toughest competitors. Said that he has been one of his toughest competitors. The two boys shook hands. Cue Liam Royal's music. Sammy turns around to have a look, turns back around, smack in the face from Omari with that flying leg kick thing that he does, and takes him out. Lo and behold, Omari is Liam Royal's mystery partner, and will be joining himself and Jay Money, and he's gonna be in this tag tournament with Liam. Great little swerve, Omari full heel turn. At the top of the night, something that we didn't mention, Sammy came out, massive ovation, came out really as the hometown hero. So I think we're after seeing the two boys turn. So going into Scrapper, we had a half heel, half face Sammy D and full face Omari. That's after completely switching, after turning on its head. Now we have heel Omari and face Sammy. And I think a lot of people may have been a bit upset about getting this match again. Oh, we just did it. We had it at Scrappermania. Why are we doing it again? I thought Scrappermania was meant to be the end of things. That's like some of the stuff that we hear. But now we're getting it, but we're getting it in a 180. We're getting it completely different dynamics, completely different everything. But also we have Omari with Jay Money in his corner, with Liam Royal in his corner. This is going to be a different Omari. And then we have Sammy there. Is Sammy going to do it without the draw? You know, like, so we have all these implications at play. And for me, the show, the matches in the ring, there was 3 banger matches, in my opinion. Yes, a couple of we had the incident with Max. It was unfortunate. We did have 2 non-finishes in the women's match and the LJ and Renzo match. I understand people being a bit annoyed and upset at some of these decisions. 2 non-finishes on a card. I completely understand that. You're completely entitled to your opinion. I think that what both of those non-finishes did was they progressed storyline. The women's and in LJ and Renzo, because LJ and Renzo had this thing running in. We're going to keep facing each other. We keep facing each other. We're not going to get away from each other. And now we're probably going to get it again. And like, it's just going to go up again. And again, this is storytelling at its best. And that's what we saw in this show. It mightn't have been the best show. It definitely wasn't the best show. It definitely wasn't the worst show, in my opinion. But what it did was it accelerated storyline. And that's something that we are missing when we came back from COVID, and something that we've only started getting in the last year or so. Not even a year to this stage, but that's what we're getting now. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the stories that are being told, because again, I have something to be invested in. And that's what it's all about. I want something to be invested in. I want to be excited going to shows, you know, and that's what we're getting. And I'm really happy about it. I loved it.
That's what I'm looking forward to, because like I said, well before we started recording, that I haven't sat down to watch that show yet. And, you know, that kind of stuff is what I love about wrestling. The storytelling is everything, you know, besides, you know, the athleticism of the performers and stuff. Storytelling is everything for wrestling. If you can't get invested in a story, you're not going to want to watch it. Like, you saw how bad, you know, Raw was for the last few years. Like, you know, booking decisions, you know, there was no storytelling. It was just rematch after rematch after rematch. Like, and it's the same thing over and over again. You can't have the same thing over and over again. So even though they're getting, you know, Sammy D, and they haven't announced the match yet, like, but Sammy D and Omari again, it's like you said, it's not the same story. It's a completely different story than Scrappermania, and it's going to be a completely different outcome. We have no idea how good Sammy's going to be as a, you know, potential face champion. Like, he's still a brand new champion as well at the top of that. So, you know, people are going to be chasing him. So besides Omari, there's so many other people who are going to chase him, you know, regardless of the draw or not. You know, we don't know, maybe the draw are going to turn on him, maybe they'll chase him. You know, there's so much potential there in the future for Sammy D, which is, you know, exciting times for to have somebody like that as your champion.
100%. And I was sorry, Mark, I was so critical of OTT probably the back end of last year. And I know when I spoke to Joe in our interview that we did with him on the skill that day, Jerry, I mentioned it, and I said, like, I don't like going into matches cold. I don't like these matches thrown together. You're giving us these matches, or you're giving us Omari against some random import. Why is he getting a title shot kind of thing? The result is a bit known, that kind of thing. And where's the storytelling? Where's the stuff that OTT was great at? Where's the Walter Devlin? You know, where's sorry, like, I know he's a cunt and all, but where's the David Starr, Walter Devlin storytelling that we got for 2 years before COVID? Some of the best storytelling in the world at the time. and probably one of the best storylines in the world, in any wrestling promotion. And that was something that was missing when we came back, and I was highly critical of it. And now we're getting back into that, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And you call me a shill, call me whatever. Like I love storytelling. You know, that's the bread and butter for me. You can have all these matches. Yeah, go see a match. Yeah, well done, great match. What did it mean without a story?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we were getting. We're getting a lot of great matches, and I love them. Love the matches, but then afterwards I was like, no. You know, so now we're getting it, and I'm in my element.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. You are a shill. And like, but also to caveat, like, not every night is Scrappermania. Like, you can't just go from blow off match to blow off match. What's in between? How do you build to a point? Storytelling. You're building to a point where you wanted people to come back more. Everybody left that event with more questions. Everybody left with so many new perceptions around how Leyton Buzzard is a fucking star. That was a carefully designed show around making Leyton Buzzard the standout star going forward for the rest of the summer, I believe. You look at somebody like Callum Newman, his match, so many standout spots. Everybody leaving that match was like, sweet Jesus, I want to see him again. There was so much thought gone into that, and I think that's hasn't been lost on people. I think people may have had just different expectations, and maybe, as I touched on earlier with regards to Fight Factory, I think a lot of Irish fans, myself included, have such high expectations of every show. And maybe it's from watching shows like AEW where there's so many giveaway, like Bandito, Konesuke Takeshita, just because it's such an amazing one-on-one match without a solid story. Some people enjoy banger after banger, such as Sheamus would say. But there's so much more to wrestling than just banging matches. Do you know what I mean? Like, this OTT is playing chess with other promotions are playing checkers, in my opinion. And I think there's so much more go for next month to be brought. All these storylines interlinked into the storylines for the tag tournament weekend, then brought into potentially a WrestleRama weekend later in the summer. And where's that leading to then with the anniversary shows at the end of the year with the kind of 10 pole events? There's so much there, and there's so much to digest. I might actually just watch this show back again. Watch Matthew Macklin's beautiful work alongside yourself, Jerry. Yeah, is that enough for one evening, giving opinions on one show?
Yeah, like it was a very divisive show, so I think there was a bit to be covered there, and but yeah, listen, I enjoyed Saturday night. It was very good. But yeah, quick look at Sunday. Hard Knocks hasn't come out yet, so we're not going to be giving away any results or anything from that. I was talking to management. They did say they're hoping maybe next weekend. What are we, the 24th today? So like, I'm presuming by next weekend it'll be out. I think that's what they're aiming for, but I'm not, like, that might be delayed, so don't quote me. If it's not out by next weekend, don't at me, please. At Mark, give out to Mark at Wrestling Mobs. Yeah, send everything to Mark. But yeah, like, just on Hard Knocks. I know we touched on that at the top of the show. About commentary and stuff. This show was, for me, this was where we arrived. Like, this was where Hard Knocks arrived, because the first show was the setup. The second one felt better than the first one. This one just, like, smacked on it. Like, it just
home run.
I can't describe it. It was just, you guys were there. Everything just hit. I think you said, Jerry, everything just fell into place. Everything was just perfect on the night. Now I know, probably watching back, we're probably on fucking Lala, and we're probably a bit biased on it, but like, for me, in the moment at the time, and even my friends who were there, it was their first shows, they were like, holy shit, this is it, you know, like, and definitely just everything just hit, and if it just felt like this was the one where, okay, now we've legitimized. Now the show is at that standard, you know, and like, so, like, hard hitting action, like, and again, a few the comedy stuff thrown in, you know, like the Kings against the Pretty Sexy Playboys opening the night, like, bashing each other, like, what a hard hitting match. Then, like, who else did we have? There was so much on it. I'm finding it hard to even remember. Mikey against Jay, Mercer against CBL, fucking Martina and CJ West against Galaccini, hungover Galaccini and Alejandro coming back from Spain on still fucking wrote off and hung over. Leyton Buzzard and Sammy D, #1 contenders match. What a match. Like unfucking believable. Like this, like as I think we talked about this in the preview. I think Mark said it. You're not gonna see a better match than that on any European card anywhere.
No.
You know, like that's a banger. Like
W champion against the OTT
the
champion.
OTT champion, yeah.
And we touched, and we touched on it beforehand. Like that was probably my favorite match of the entire weekend. I thought it was absolutely incredible. We also got to see the Hard Knocks Pro title. You'd done a sit-down interview with Terry Thatcher and Butch Armstrong beforehand, which kind of gave you a hint as to what kind of tone is going to be set, or what the two guys are going to be coming bringing to that match.
I don't think anyone could have anticipated what happened in that match.
Even just how it started.
The start, like it set the tone, for everything. Like, and guys, I'm not going to give it away. And
no, don't.
So just to let people know, again, a bit of inside baseball here. The hard cam was actually covered at the start of that match, and I don't think we got footage of what happened at the start of the match, which was the biggest spot of the night, in my opinion. But as far as I know, there's a few fans in the audience who did get footage. And as far as I know, Hard Knocks management have reached out to them. And what they're going to do is they're going to implement a fan cam to open that match, where I think they're going to get maybe 2 or 3 different clips and show it from different angles at the start of that match, and then get back into the hard cam footage. Because we didn't actually capture it all, because the hard cam was covered. You'll see on the show why the hard cam was covered. There was people in the way of it, that's all I'll say. But yeah, like what an opener, what way to start a match, what a way to end the match. The whole thing through was amazing. And again, as I said at the top of the show, I was like literally buzzing.
Yeah, and it was the golden ticket gauntlet match between the 4 participants.
All about that.
Scotty Davis, the lead of Raven Creed, Boots Murphy, LJ Cleary. Listen, you touched on it at the start of the show, that feeling of like detaching yourself and watching wrestling. Sometimes you can watch it too much, like you're looking for things, whereas particularly when you're on commentary, where you have to engage as like as a different kind of, from a different perspective, say, like it kind of lends to more that kind of childlike appreciation of what you're watching in front of you. And like I think all 3 of us, as the show was ended, we were like, oh my god! Like I kind of jumped from the desk. You had to kind of walk away to calm down, and Jerry's just like, "Oh my god, that was unbelievable."
I drove home after the show, back to Cork, with Luke Barry on the passenger seat, and then other than listening to a few podcasts on the way back, we were talking about it for a long time on the way back. We were just buzzing straight after.
So I got back at 2 a.m. and sat on my couch till 4 a.m. just trying to wind down. Like, and I was knackered, but I just couldn't wind down. Like I was so tired. Like, but I knew if I had gone to bed, I just wouldn't. My brain was still buzzing, you know. Sorry, Sam and Raven as well. What a kooky weird match. Like that was deadly. Like, you know, it's. There was just there was so much on that card, and it just felt like this was the moment Hard Knocks has arrived, and I think the fans took note of it as well. I think we saw ourselves, Jerry, and I know that we were talking about it the first 2 shows, that how good they were, and that there was something special here. I think that show on Sunday was when everyone else realized how special it was, and the fans talking about it online, like unreal. Like I'm reading some of the comments, and like some people are trying to compare it to OTT, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm like there is no comparison. There are apples and oranges. They're 2 completely different shows. But even for people to be mentioning it in the same echelon of OTT is ridiculous. To even consider, you know. But yeah, just like I'm buzzing for that to come out. I'm buzzing to watch it back. I'm buzzing for everyone who wasn't there to actually see it. And like, guys, let us know what you think. Like, send it, tweet me, like at Front Row CB, like send it to me. Like, let me know what you think. On the admin of the fans Facebook group as well, I see pretty much everything that goes in there. Throw your comments in there. Let us know what you think. I want to know these things. I want to, like, and as well, like when it comes to commentary, don't tell me what you think of my commentary. Just tell Mark how shit he was. No, I'm only joking. No, honestly, all feedback is welcome. So like, if there's something that you don't like about me, tell me. I'm not going to change it. I'll probably do more of it just to piss you off. So, but yeah, like,
we have
let
to
us know.
We have to wait till the end of July now for the next Hard Knock show.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
the hard part.
But
I
listen,
think we said 13 weeks, is it? Like, that's a long time.
it's a long old time. But like, listen, keep your eyes peeled to all socials over the next couple of weeks, particularly our socials. We will be looking to do something special in regards to when the Hard Knock show drops. So on YouTube, so keep your eyes peeled on that. We'll make sure to keep you abreast of any updates. And again, once you do watch it, please fire all abuse Colin Burns' way at Front Row CB. I'm just standing in for one night, so please don't at me because I'm weak and impressionable. So
There's a
yeah.
big message, and this will be leaving comments now saying, right.
I'd love
And
that.
I-
Set up
I'd
a
actually
fake
love
partner.
to see that.
listen, I've no doubt I was talking absolute garbage as well. But listen, it was an absolute pleasure to be down. So thanks to Leon, Steve, Liz, and you two lads for having me down. It was an unbelievable day out.
Pleasure, Mark. Pleasure. You smashed it. Just before we sign off as well, competition time. We have 2 tickets for the next Hard Knock show, 30th of July. Tickets haven't even gone on sale yet, so we have the first 2 tickets available. So if you want them, all you have to do, like and subscribe this video, this channel, and leave a comment on this video. We're going to take all comments and we're going to get 2 tickets out to the winner. We're going to do that before tickets go on sale. So you will be the first person with tickets to Hard Knocks. So we're going to leave it open as long as we can. We don't know when tickets are going to drop. So once we hear that tickets are going to drop, we will then pull all the comments, and we're going to do this over our videos. So if you want to be in with a chance to win, if you want to be in with 2 or 3 chances to win, if there's more videos before tickets drop, get on to them ones as well and leave comments, and you'll be added twice or 3 times or 4 times or whatever, and you have a better chance of winning. But you could win the first 2 tickets to Hard Knocks. After the last show, the next one isn't going to be missed. What was it called? Hard Luck?
30th, 1st of July, isn't it? Or 30th of July.
30th, I think. It's the Sunday. Whatever the Sunday is,
Yeah.
I think it's the
Last-
30th. The last Sunday in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it is. So yeah, if you want to win those tickets, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment on this video and all future videos until tickets go on sale, and you could win 2 tickets for free. And if
Absolutely.
I know I was saying this to Leon and Steve, but like I'm gonna try convince them as well to get t-shirts and stuff as well. So like, yeah, you can hold me to that at the show. I'll tell them that you're the competition winners and we're giving you free t-shirts as well. So yeah, yeah, we're gonna throw them in. So
Exclusive right there.
there you go.
Lads,
They told me we could do it. So like, yeah,
lads,
they never gave me confirmation. But that's it.
It's been a pleasure, lads, as always. There's always good stuff to talk about in Irish wrestling. This is why we do this show. There's always shows on pretty much every weekend. There's a lot of shows coming up. We'll definitely be touching base again in the next week or so. They look forward to more Fight Factory, next gen shows, NLW, RCW. You know, there's a lot of shows coming up. There's a seminar in June as well. You can look forward to in the National Stadium. And the side, so the bank holiday weekend in June, like there's a lot coming up for Irish wrestling. So just keep your eyes peeled for again on social for all Irish wrestling and independent promotions. Just follow them all and support Irish wrestling. It's all we can do is just keep supporting them, and you know we've always got shows to go to, so don't miss out. Colin, Mark, been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. See you at the next one.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.